1080p, we do see consistent gains as the memory frequency increases, though it has to be said that there is just a 7% increase in performance for the minimum frame rate when going from DDR4 2133 all the way up to DDR4 3600. Another game I tested was Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, and unfortunately it didn't become apparent that there was a 125 FPS cap until I was well into the testing. Since I had the results, I decided to include them anyway, as they could be useful once we move to the 4K resolution. Finally, the last game I tested was Gears of War 4, which is known to be a very demanding game on the CPU. Here we see a reasonable 13% boost in performance when going from DDR4 2133 to DDR4 3600. Still, I was using a Titan XP here at 1080p, so you do have to wonder what the gains would be like under more realistic conditions. Well, these numbers look quite different to the Battlefield 1 results seen previously. Here we see virtually no difference in performance between the DDR4 2133 and DDR4 3600 memory when gaming with the Titan XP at 4K. Call of Duty Infinite Warfare has now dropped down to 75 FPS, and while that is well below the 125 FPS cap we previously saw, increasing the memory speed didn't improve the frame rate. Even in Gears of War 4, where we previously saw a 13% performance boost from the lowest clock memory to the fastest, we now just see a 3.5% variation in performance at 4K. So the moment the GPU becomes the performance limiting factor, which is almost always when gaming, increasing the CPU's memory bandwidth does little to nothing to aid system performance. For the most part, high-speed DDR4 isn't really going to improve the gaming experience. Perhaps those rocking a higher refresh rate monitor might benefit from the high memory frequency, but for everyone else it isn't really necessary. One last thing I just want to look at briefly are memory timings. As you can see, as the memory timings are relaxed, the memory bandwidth slowly falls away. The impact timings have on bandwidth isn't nearly as significant as the frequency though. From CL16 to CL18 we only see a 2% reduction in bandwidth. Meanwhile previously we saw a 4% reduction when going from DDR4 3400 to 3200, and then from 3200 down to 2800 a reduction in bandwidth by a further 7%. Here we see well under a 1% reduction in performance when testing the various memory timings using 7-zip. Finally, using Gears of War 4 we see virtually no difference in performance when tweaking the memory timings. So in the end, memory timings and frequency don't have a great impact on gaming performance. Therefore it really comes down to price. Given that there are quite large bandwidth gains to be had when going with faster memory, I would still recommend buying the fastest memory possible. I just don't recommend hitting yourself with any kind of serious price premium to get it. For example, G-Skill's Ripjaws 4 16GB dual channel DDR4 2133 kit starts at $85 US, but for $5 more you can purchase their Ripjaws 5 DDR4 3000 kit, and for another $5 lands you the Ripjaws 5 DDR4 3200 kit. Beyond that though, things do start to get a bit out of control. The cheapest DDR4 3400 kit, which is another Ripjaws 5 memory kit, costs $130. Not outlandish, but that's almost a 40% premium over the DDR4 3200 stuff for no real gain. As a side note, I'd just like to point out that G-Skill hasn't sponsored this video, but they have sent us a shipload of memory in the past, and with it being so competitively priced, it works well for these examples. So in summary, if pricing in your region reflects what we just saw, then I recommend pairing your KB Lake or Skylake processor with DDR4 3000 to 3200 memory. For the past year we've used DDR4 3200 memory in our Core i7 6700K test machine, and it's worked out very nicely. I will provide some links in the video description for some memory over at Amazon I recommend checking out. Anyway, that's all from me on this one. Just remember, get the fastest memory you can while avoiding spending a huge premium over the 2133 stuff. I'm your host Steve, and I hope to catch you on the next one.
Darcy Lactivate reporting live from CS 2017, and I have the pleasure of being with one of our favorites and an old-time friend of ours at Android Authority and my personal. It's Ken Hong. Thank you, sir. Global Communications Director for LG Mobile. So what do you think about CS 2017? What do you see that was cool?
One of the best shows I've been to, and I've been to quite a few. There's a lot of energy this year. Very, very exciting year for innovation, not only from us, but other companies as well. To be honest with you, I haven't actually seen the show. We've been so busy at our own booth.
Yeah.
You know, I can't step away because there's a line of people wanting to talk about what we've brought to CES this year. And I'm happy to do so. Hopefully, after we talk, I'll have a chance to wander around a bit.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of stuff people have been telling me to check out.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Well, you know, I know, and Ken and I were talking about this before, but I was invited to go see LG display, and I know it's a separate company, but we were seeing some 8K OLED TVs in there, curved wraparound stuff, and like we were talking about before, you know, I believe that LG has one of the strongest brands in consumer electronics, you know, whether it's across home appliances or home entertainment. On the mobile side of things, you guys had a lot of innovative stuff, you know, around the LG G5, you know, the V20.
Yeah.
What do you think of, talking specifically about mobile, I mean, 2017 is like, arguably the most competitive frame of time I've witnessed in the mobile industry. Samsung's trying to come back after 2 PR nightmares with their washing machines and their Note 7 battery fiasco. What does LG have coming for us?
Well, first of all, let me address that elephant in this booth. You know, innovation sometimes leads to problems, mistakes. I mean, Samsung isn't the only one, and we definitely you know, we're not gloating or, you know, taking, I don't know, any sort of positive message away from that. It's a negative for the whole industry when innovation leads to problems like that. So again, if you innovate, you're gonna take some risks.
Yeah.
You know, you don't innovate, you don't move ahead by not doing things like that. So again, for the sake of future CESs, I hope to see companies push the boundaries more. We've pushed, and there have been things in our past that, you know, have not worked out. And we're going to try to correct those in the following year. I mean, some people may say that our last G series, you know, we definitely lost focus. You know, possibly we'll see what happens with the G6. But we definitely do not think that people should stop taking risks.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, it's risk taking that's kind of got the industry to where it is.
I hope it continues.
I mean, things have kind of gotten a little bit flatlined. You know, consumer interest has actually declined substantially on device launches. I've noticed year over year because I study the analytics so we can keep the lights on, keep creating content. I mean, we got virtual reality, you know, we have all this 360 stuff, we have faster processors, faster networks.
Yeah.
What's the next big thing?
Well, if I knew that, I wouldn't be working at LG. I'd be doing my own startup, I guess. You know, if I had to put money down, it would be something related to AI. You know, whether it's robotics or deep learning or what have you. I think, and you know, I never use the word cloud because what does that mean? Come on, they're all part of this very, very wide general ecosystem, but I think it's going to be, and it might not be this year, but it will take a few years, obviously, but it'll be very, very low-level AI. I think that's the direction everyone's going in the tech industry. You know, we introduced robots at this show. Yeah. You know, that is the hardware version of the AI. Exactly. Right, but we're definitely focusing there.
Well, that's so cool to hear. I mean, from what I've read, right now, artificial intelligence is access and interface 85% of the time for audio. And so it seemed like 2016 was like a year of partnerships, you know?
A lot of partnerships.
We had like, you know, Leica and Huawei and so forth, right? But this Alexa opening up their API, I mean, do you think LG is going to be trying to create something in-house or buying something like you did with WebOS around the other side? Or?
Absolutely. I mean, Amazon has the best in the business when it comes to that, the data and the, you know, and the information and the content.
And the voice quality too.
We've got a long way to go. We're not a software company. Yeah. You know, we have to do software for our hardware, but we're not a software company at all. And so we need a partner that is good at software, right? And Amazon, you know, they may be e-commerce, but there's a lot of software knowledge behind that, right? So, you know, they're never going to do an exclusive partnership with any company. They're going to open it up wide, similar to what Google has done with Android. So yeah, we're definitely willing to play that role of one of many of Amazon's partners. And a lot of companies at this show have introduced, you know, hardware that uses Alexa.
Yes, yes.
And I think that's good for everyone.
You said something last night which I can't stop thinking about. I don't know if I can share it. It might cause a little bit of a...
Well, I'll deny it if I can't talk about it.
A little bit of a riff with the audience. And you said, we are looking Sorry.
Beyond?
Yeah, we were looking at a reality beyond Android. You know, perhaps in a time, and yeah, I mean, you mentioned like Internet Explorer.
All right. Well, look.
I'm just.
I don't think there's any hardware or software in this case that that we can say will be the standard forever.
Yeah.
I mean, we all thought that about Windows. Is it? I mean, with Chrome, with Chromebooks and so forth, you are looking at competition.
Yeah.
Others have come and gone. Mozilla tried to do a Firefox OS.
Sailfish.
You gotta be ready for the next thing, whatever that will be. We are not saying that this is going to last forever or that this will end soon. We are saying that in this field, you gotta be ready for everything.
Yeah.
So whether that's Firefox OS or Sailfish or whatever, you just have to be ready for something that we cannot control.
There's 3 billion.
We're not controlling it, but look.
3 billion Android users. Okay.
Yes, and we are not about to say that there's something on the horizon, but I definitely think you just have to be ready for the next big consumer trend. We're not controlling it. Again, we're responding to consumer wants and needs. Look at WebOS. It used to be mobile, and then we turned it into a TV OS.
It's a great
we're
OS
not
for
interested.
TV.
We're not interested in WebOS for mobile. And people are like, oh, please bring it back. And why would we bring it back? It was mobile. It failed. We turned it into TV. It's very successful. Now this show, we've introduced it into an appliance.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
How crazy is that?
So you
it's
have a
in the
touchscreen?
fridge.
On the fridge, like a touchscreen, right?
Yeah, on a touchscreen,
cool.
on our InstaView fridge, you're seeing Android for the first time in history outside of a TV and outside of a smartphone. How cool is that?
I mean, that's really cool.
You just have to be ready for everything.
Yeah, but definitely software is the future. I mean, you talk about the refrigerator, scanning in the products as they come in. Okay, this is in the last 4 days. Looking at the recipes, recommending it to you.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's.
The software is the future, but we're a hardware company.
Yeah.
We don't pretend to be anything else. We are a manufacturer. We are technology, yes, but we're also appliances.
Yeah.
So you have a couple companies in the world right now that can do a lot of different things, but at the end of the day, we are manufacturers.
Yes, you are.
And we do some OEM work. We also do some, we do a lot of things behind the scenes. A lot of people don't realize that we make machines for other companies too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so it's a very, very exciting area to be in. Have our own brand as well as help other companies create brands.
World-leading technology.
With our manufacturing prowess.
I know, it's especially, I mean, you guys have so much expertise across so many different segments that it's...
We want to talk about that. That's what I'm here to talk about. Not just phones, not just TVs, but the fact that there are companies like us who can pretty much get involved in whether it's solar energy, whether it's washing machines or car parts. We do it all.
So 2016, LG versus Samsung. Who do you think won 2016?
What's the win? How is the win being measured?
Perception and trust towards the brand. Consumer perception and trust towards the brand.
Impossible to say, only because it really depends what the question is. Like, is it about branding? Is it about revenues? I mean, of course, a company like Samsung is much bigger than us.
Yeah.
So when you're talking about sales and revenues, they're always going to be
that's just
number one or number two in the world, right?
Yeah, that's true.
But I think we hold our own. I think LG
really has. You guys are a scrappy fighter.
LG has really a strong fans when it comes to certain products.
Yes.
Especially appliances.
And display.
Yes, display as well.
Widescreen monitors.
But we have a lot of work to do in other areas.
Yeah.
So again, it depends on the question and it depends on who you ask. Because if you're a fan of TVs, LG may be very strong there, but it may not be very strong in another area.
Yeah.
We got to work on those other areas.
Okay, well, I think you guys are doing a great job.
Thank you.
And,
Thanks for your help.
Well, man, I love you guys, I really thank you for your time, Ken.
All right, Darcy.
All right, sir.
Appreciate it.
Darcy Lacouvé, Android Authority, CS 2017, signing off.
Better to be late. Your task has been cut down.
Starship Leclerc reporting live at CS 2017. I'm here with a new friend of ours, Mr. Zach Zhang, who's the Vice President of Honor USA. And today we are just going to be talking about the Honor brand and about their newly introduced device, the Honor 6X. Pleasure to meet with you today, sir.
Great to meet you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So talk to us about the Honor 6X and about what you guys are doing in the US in 2017.
Yeah, from the Honor 6X, this will be the first device we bring to the US market. Actually, we are as a new brand, we just come to here just for 1 year, because I still remember we bring the first device, the Honor 5X, to the US market, and then we bring the Honor 8 at August in San Francisco. And this is the third device, and also it's really just for a complete year after we launch in the US market. And for the past year, I think we make a good achievement as the new brand just introduced to the US market. Both the Honor 5X and Honor 8 have a good sales result, and also it's welcomed by the consumer and also by the media. Media gives us a lot of reward, and it's a great pleasure for them.
Congratulations on a very successful launch in 2017.
Yeah.
And honestly, we have to say that we reviewed the device. We spent 3 weeks with it, and for its price point, with the camera, the battery life, and also how luxurious it feels in the hand, we were really impressed, honestly. So I have to congratulate you and your team for creating a really great device at a very aggressive price point.
Thank you. Because Honor is always focused on those points you are mentioned, like they have a very nice camera, especially the dual camera technology.
Yes, yeah.
We are bringing to the world for the dual camera from the Honor 6 Plus. It's very long time ago, about 4 to 5 years already. We are actually the first one to bring a parallel biologic camera to the world. And we are already also focused on this technology. So you see that from the Honor 8, the Honor 6X, we all bring the dual lens camera to the US market. It's really great, especially for the young people. They can use this one to make a lot of different tricks to make the blue effect. And also this is why we think it's so important to bring this technology to a more affordable price level.
Exactly.
So because the young people, they are more willing to using this kind of thing to make tricks. This is amazing.
It's kind of
And
playful.